Good morning. We are live. Yeah. And here we go. How's everybody doing? Let me see if we have everything set up. Yeah. So, hello guys. Okay. Yep, everything is working fine. I see the chat. So, how is everybody doing today? It's early morning on Saturday. So 10 a.m. is early on Saturday. But usually I'm working like for 2 hours right now. Oh, man. Okay, so we are back to doing some Express stuff. So as I said before, so first thing what I want to show you is some alternatives to Express. So Express is not the be-all end-all on Node.js REST frameworks. So also Express can be server-side rendering for HTML and things like that, but that's not what's interesting to us, or at least that's not what is interesting for today, at least. So let's see some alternatives for it. So one of the famous alternatives of Express is actually Koa. Hey Daniel, Vera. Yeah, I'm still getting my first coffee in me, so you can hear me sipping it. So there is a Koa. It's very it's a next generation web framework. It's a bit more complicated than Express. It has some great features and so on. And there is also always things like Sales.js and Next.js. So I will send it to you everything from here. So these are some frameworks and so on. Most of them are a little bit. So Koa is the most similar to Express, and Sales and Next are a little bit more the nose of creating full stack apps and so on. They're a bit more strict about what they're doing around. The problem with Koa is it has really strange way of writing everything, at least different from Express. So yeah. Express is the simplest one. It's not the fastest one. It's not the best one. So I wouldn't advise anybody who is creating like a giant application today to build it on Express. Express is just fine. If you're building like microservices or something like that, I would advise you to use just Node framework, just the HTTP framework. But Express is totally fine for what we are doing. I use Express really often when I'm creating like a small app or something that I need to be created quickly. This is totally fine. So if you want to look into Quad.js, Quad.js is for me is the best one at the moment. So okay, so what we did last time, we talked a little bit theory about how to build REST APIs, how to design them, and we'll be doing that today. We'll be using that advice that we get on the previous lecture, and we will be using it for building REST API today. So we have an exercise REST API empty folder. You can delete the git keep, and we can just open in terminal. So if you haven't downloaded the repository, you can download it from this link, clone it, or SSH it. So first thing first, we need to npm init it. So exercise REST API is cool, version, description, entry point can be index.js, test command can be empty, and so on and so on. This is totally okay. So we have created our package.json. So first thing first, we need to install our express and body parser. So npm install save express and body parser. I will copy this into chat so it's be easy for you. Here you go. Press enter. It will take some time. See, 1.8 seconds. Cool. And after that, what we need to install also, so it be easier for us, that's nodemon. So nodemon or nodedaemon is the thing that keeps refreshing our application whenever we change some code in there. So let's do it. My internet is doing fine today. It's not like on Thursday. So on Thursday I had a lot of dropped frames. I'm streaming in 60 FPS, so maybe you haven't noticed because YouTube is iffy with frames per second, but today it seems totally fine, so my internet is back up to speed. The next thing what we need to do is create a getignore file, and we just say in there node modules, and that should be it. Yeah, and we should create our index.js file. So first things first, if you remember, we need to import our express. In node.js we are using require, not import. Things like this. Afterwards, we need to define our app by calling express like this. At the end of it, we need to do app listen. For a port, we can say 8000. It's totally fine. And that's about it. So if we run this, node index.js, we should get on port 800 nothing. Yeah, works fine. It says cannot get because we haven't defined anything. Maybe we should define hello world just in case that we see that everything is working totally fine. We always get request and response in this type of callbacks, and just rest send hello world. I will paste everything here. Here you go. Now we need to restart because we haven't opened with nodemon. Hello world. Yeah, it's working totally fine. So coffee time. Okay, we'll be using the same collection as we used on Thursday. So people with pets. There is a very famous example online of REST APIs called Pet Shop. We won't like emulate that. We will create our own thing. So yeah, this is working. The thing that we wanted to use nodemon. So let's write a script for that. In start, just say nodemon index.js, and when we run npm start, we are getting nodemon automatically restarted. So it says hello world now. When I change to hello YouTube, we actually get, when I refresh, hello YouTube. Okay, so it's working totally fine. So let's talk a little bit about design. We will have an endpoint called person, and we will have endpoint called pet. So this one will actually do CRUD on person object, and this will be doing some CRUD on pet. So this will be two different collections that will save somewhere. Okay. Everybody up to speed? Okay. So, how to do that? So, we can define all the functions like these ones for CRUD operations in some different file. We can import them here and then write them out here. The thing that's great in Express, there is something called router, but we won't be using that now. There's something that's called route. So you can see here that we can define multiple like get, post, or even all on some route here. So we can define route/person, and then we can use like get, post, put, and everything else. Define it like this. Okay. Let's try to use that. So, for example, let us just define, let's say, maybe we define a routes folder. In that folder, we will use a person.js, and we will use pet.js. We should define 3 different functions here. So for creating, reading, updating, and deleting collections. So first, let's define collection here, as we are not using any database for save it or so on. In the end, we will save it in JSON file. So let's start with this. So define name, surname, age, and we can define here pets, but let's skip for now. So let's define this 3 and then ID. So ID is 1, David, surname is Abram, and age is 30. So let's define another one person, say ID is 2, name is John, surname is Smith, and age 35. So this is our collection, or we can call it like people, so it's easier for us to understand what's going on. So we have 2 items in this collection. This is an array. I'm calling it collection because when you're talking about some data or something, any array, set, or map of data is actually called a collection. Yeah. So let's define our 3 different functions here. So first is, or maybe multiple of them. So first, let's define 2 gets. So one get is when we call a route without anything. So read all people, or get all, maybe read, let's say read people. So we are getting request and response here, but we don't need actually anything from here to be read. We will just return people. Really easy. And for our read person by ID, so this we will getting straight one person here. Maybe we shouldn't like get like this request. Maybe we'll just send an ID here. So what we'll do here is use return people dot find. We can use find here. So find will return. I'm not sure that I shown you this this method, array method. So this find will find the first item that has some truth value here. So we will return person dot id equals to id. And after that, we should export this to function. So I'm not sure that I'm sure. I really can't remember. It's too early in the morning. If I showed you this, probably I showed you how to export it in. I can move this down. So it should be defined like this. So in our index, we can use const read people and read person by ID. Require it from, and now define roots person. Done. So let's get back to this. So these are just this is returning the whole collection. This is just finding the first person. So fine, if it doesn't find a person, it will return null here. So let's do that. So we can define up get or up route first. Up route person. Let's double check this. So person, then we are piping anything that we want here. So person, we can define get. If get is the route, then we should get request response, and we should just send JSON or request send. Oh man, today is not my day. Read people, and we can get /id request response, and then we can remember this. We are actually getting this ID from the URL, so we can write here not request. What I'm doing? Response send. We can get response send read person by ID, and we send them the ID down there. So it's request dot params dot ID, but we need to transform it into a number, because if it's not number, it will create more and more problems. So let's see what this will do, at least if it's working. So let's try it on person. Whoops, something's not working. Let's see what. Callback function, but got object string. What? Let's read this. So there were some problems here. Let's try to build it again. So the problem here for us is that on routes, okay, that's not our problem. Then we have index 10.4 dot get. What? Oh, we cannot pipe in this way. Well, why I thought that we can do this with route. Route is only defined by one of this. Okay, no problem. So it needs to be defined like this. So when defining route, we need to define every time we have a different route. So no problem. I again read documentation wrong. So we need to define two different routes, one with the person with the ID like this, and the other one will be only for person. So delete this. Okay, are you happy now? Is everything working now? Yeah, now it's working. Let's try it. Okay, this returns everything, and for 1, this returns okay. It works. So we are doing stuff with people here. So if you get 1, it actually, if you get just /person, we will get all people. And if we get an ID, we will read like a singular 1. The problem here is, remember what when I was talking like last lecture, when we get like ID 6 here, a non-existing ID, we should probably return a 404. So let's try to see what's going on here. If we return 7, it returns nothing. So let's see when we refresh this, it will return 200 without anything in there. So that's totally wrong. So what we need to do is, if there is like, if we return null from this red person ID, we should return actually 404. So we can see here that there is something, when we just go over like rest send, that there is something called rest status. So we can define with rest status that is 404, and that we can find anything. So we can do something like this. We can like const result is equal, and put this in there. And if result exists, we do something. Else, we response with 404. So if we found it, if it's not null, we will send result. And if we couldn't find it, we will record status 404.send. We lost your person. Something like this. So let's try this. See? And if you open the network tab, we will see that status is 404. It's red because 400 and 500 are errors. So we got an error here. So we lost your person here. Yeah. Okay. We will get some random data. So we could just ignore this data from here, from 404. If you want, we could write like just empty string, or just say like this send. But we can just say some funny stuff here. Or in real production, on real production servers, we will send some error here, and we could beautify that error on the front end, or we can create some link to documentation or something like that if we want, really. But this works perfectly fine. So yeah. So we are here keeping some functions for this collection. So just reading this collection or doing something with it. And in here we are like updating it, and so on, so on. So that works fine. Person 1 returns, that's totally fine. Let's say person 2 is Smith, and here is our person. So just remember that we are initializing our collection just here. So every time we save in our VS Code, node.daemon restarts our application, and this collection is back to 2 different items in here. This is just for now, for our testing, and we will be saving this to JSON file. In the future, we'll be using databases, of course. But okay, let's go for deleting something. So let's say delete person by ID. Let's say it like this. So we send some ID. What we actually do here is we should just remove a person from here by ID. So I'm not sure that we done this a lot in array, but we can try and search here. So let's go to the array. We can like find, we can use find. So let's go to MDN. We can use array find for finding an element, and then we can delete it. So what we can use actually from all here, we can use splice. So what splice does is actually, you can see here, method changes the content of the array by removing or replacing existing element. So you can see here that we can splice for deleting it, maybe like this. So splice, or you can see here that if we put like 3, 1, we can remove the third. So you can see here we have 6 or these 5 different items here. We can remove something on the third position, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and for length of 1. So we are deleting just this one. We can use find index for finding on what on one position is our user there. This is totally fine. We can use this. There are some better ways of writing this, but this is totally okay for now. So what we can do here is actually, we can also do something different, but we defined the people as const. So we could like filter our whole array and then reassign our whole collection. So we can do that. We can actually, maybe that's better. That's easier for us to write. So we can create const something, result, anything like new people, and we can actually call people.filter. We want only people that don't have the ID. So person.id is not equal to ID. So we want to have all the people that don't have this ID in our new array, and then just pass people equals new people, something like this. So we can create this shorter like this. So people will be just filtering, and we should return. We should just return. So in this example, we can do just this, and if everything's okay and there is no error, we can just return. Yeah, we can just return 204. So no content. So let's try to do that. So on this route here, we can add delete request response. We can call, we need to add up here, delete person by ID. And we can call here just delete person by ID. And then we can pass this part here. And if everything's okay, let's imagine for now that everything's okay, we can rest send 204. So let's try that. Remember, we need to use fetch for calling that. Or maybe we can try something different. Something, I think I have it installed, and I can send you to for everybody to install it. Just let me set this properly. So this is an app called Insomnia. Let's send you here. You can probably use this app for calling APIs and not writing every time, like from again writing fetch functions. So you can use this. So Insomnia is graphical UI. For calling it, just let me give you an example. We can create a new request. We can call it delete. We can push it to delete. We can copy this part here. So we can call it something delete1. We can send it and we get an error because we missed something. You see it's 500 server error, but it doesn't matter. We can actually get right here get and then send it, and we get some data here. You can download that. The problem, I don't use really often Insomnia. I'm using only if my team uses Insomnia. I prefer using my terminal for that. So you can do something like this if you are on Linux. If you are on Windows, I'm not sure. There is something called wget. You can try writing here wget, or is it wget? Wget is like downloading the file. So yeah, I'm not sure. In PowerShell, I don't remember. I've done that like 5 years ago. But let's use this app for querying that. So what we can do here is actually we can rename this to get people. We can write get person. So we call it something like this. We can send get this will get people. This will delete. We get some error here, and we can double check what this is. So download Insomnia if you want. We could be using that. Insomnia is like straightforward and really easy. I totally forgot about that. So there is Insomnia Core. That's what you need to download. It's right here. And there is some designer. This is for documenting and creating your own REST API documentation. So the core is needed for us to work properly. I'm totally sorry, I forgot to tell you about this. I'm still talking to developers each day, and like I totally forget that I'm talking to beginners sometimes. So I like everybody knows about Insomnia, everybody knows about Postman and things like that. Okay, so there's some problem here. We delete person, we haven't like exported it. That's the problem. We need to export every function that we want to be available in index.js, and that's delete person by ID. So we can go back to this. I can get this to here, so it'd be easier for us. Easier for us to read it. So we can go to delete, and it says no content. If we get people after that, you will see that only is John Smith here. If you try to get person, we've got 404, we lost your person. Oh, okay. So yeah, Insomnia is pretty nice for us to be using here. I'm really sorry again. I will wait a moment for you to download it, so you don't need to play back the stream. It's I don't think that it's huge application. Let's try see how many megabytes for Windows is there. 200 megabytes. Oh man, it is huge. Okay, sorry. I'm used for installing it like through terminal, so I really don't know how large it is. I don't watch what the terminal is saying to me. Okay, so next things that we need to do is post and things like that. I'm still waiting for you guys to download this to see that this is awesome thing, because we can like add bodies in here. I will show you in the future that. And for creating, posting, and so on. So if we save here, we will actually restart everything, as you can see here. So every time we save, our collection is initialized again. So we don't need to worry if it creates some error here or something. It doesn't matter. Okay. So we need to try creating some data now. So everybody up to speed. Let me see. Let me just double check the stream if it's working properly. Oh yeah, okay. I have some problems with. Okay, no problem. I can wait a little bit more. Yeah, I have some problems with the YouTube Studio. So I'm not sure if you have ever tried like creating a video on YouTube or something, but the user experience of this app is just awful. Like I haven't used like worse app than this, and I'm not sure like why is awful as it is. So I'm sure that most like of YouTube videos, or at least professionally made, or are made with something else than this YouTube Studio app, but this is just straight up awful. The live streaming app is. I imagine that like YouTube with Google money can create something better than this. This is just, or they're just ignoring this part. This is just awful. So I can see your chat. I can see I can see my stream here, and the problem is that I cannot see my stream with better quality than 360 pixels, so 360p resolution. So I don't know if it's like streaming properly or if it's not streaming properly. I can like double check that, and I don't see like the only thing that I see is like it says stream status is excellent, and I need to look in my local like OBS for see everything that's working here. It's really strange that they haven't like put any effort in this. Really strange. From developer standpoint, this seems like a easy fix. I don't think there is much money for them in this. That's why they're ignoring it. But oh man, it's awful. And there are some random errors like for starting. Many times I have tried to start this and it just didn't work, and it's like random error there. And then random error, the problem I can debug it really easy because they send me like a really wordy verbose error, and I can see the line of code that failed, and like, oh man, it's a developer's dream. So yeah, let's while it's downloading, let's try to create our endpoint. So let's do create person. So when we are creating person, what we need to do is we need to do name, surname, age, and then and then create person. So the problem here is we need to increase our ID manually. So this is not perfect by any means. So hello. We had some. Am I live? Let me double check what's happened here. I'm not sure if I'm alive right now or not. Oh, okay. So that's what to talk about. So I got an error from YouTube that YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. And it seemed like everything dropped for a second. And thank you for that error, YouTube. I mean, great troubleshooting. Oh man. Okay. So it dropped for a second. So let's go back. So creating person. Yeah. So what I was talking about, like ID is not ideal here. We want to have some auto incremental ID, so we don't need to worry about that. But okay, for our example, let's increment manually our ID. So how to do that? We actually need to get our max ID and add it by 2. So to find here, we actually need to do a reduce function. So imagine this. So let's do it. Const ID or new ID is actually people dot we could do map. We can just get all IDs and then reduce. The problem, so we can create a hack actually to just get the last. We can do it. We can do it much more easier, but I'm worrying that it will create some problems, and at least for now I'm not seeing it. So let's do it like this. They're easier. This is the right way. We can map and reduce it and then get everything, or we can just get the last item and get it ID. So we can do like people, get people dot length -1. So this will get our last one, ID +1, something like this. This will get our last person in our array, and then get it ID. This is probably fine. The problem here is if we delete something with ID2 and then try to create with ID2, we will get the same ID, and this is bad, because if you remember that John Smith has ID2 and we try to query it, we should probably get like 404, because John Smith is the one that had ID2. So we cannot create a new user that had the same ID. So maybe the best thing that we can do here is to define an ID here and then auto increment it manually, maybe something like this. So in this example, we can use ID like this. Yeah, I'm thinking about on spot about this. I'm not really sure what's the best thing. I'm not thinking about like manually incrementing my ID here. So this is a bit new thing for me to think. Maybe this is the best way. So what we can do actually is just great. So people.add, we can add a person here, but we can also define a person, like a new person here. Not like this, but new person, const new person is equal to, so we can pass here name, surname, age, and add our ID manually, just like this. And we can actually do something like this. So this is a little bit hacky, but what this does is actually increases an ID before it assigns to this property here. So here it goes. A really hacky way of writing this. And then we can return new person, because remember, we are generating this ID, so it's much better that we returned it back to the client who created the person object. So yeah, let's try this. This seems pretty simple. So I added ID up here and then increment it here. So let's go back to the index, and here we need to define our post. Required response. So we need to get everything from the body here. So const result equals create. I haven't added it here. So create person, and we need to get name. So request.body.name, request.body.surname, request.body.age. Const return send result if everything is fine. So something like this. We will probably get an error because we haven't added like body parser thing. So let's do that before we get some random error here. So body parser is require body parser. This is just for our JSON, so we can automatically app use body parser.json, something like this. Okay, so we can probably create something in our Insomnia. So let's try to create together a new post endpoint. So a new post call. So new request, edit or post person. We can choose here post and we say JSON body. So create. And the JSON body here, we can write it down and say name is Mark, surname. Oh, we need to write JSON, right? We cannot write some random things here. So surname Mark Johnson, age 31. Let me finish this properly. So something like this, and our endpoint will be the person one. And in the header there should be content type application JSON. That's totally fine. Let's try it. Oh, I wrote down add, not push is for adding. So push is for pushing an array. It's push, not add. Just this one is, yeah. Here we go. We created the person, get people. There is Mark Johnson. We can try to post it again, and let's get all people. It's two different Mark Johnson is here. So yeah, is Insomnia working properly? This is just a great app. It's really awesome. You can see like the headers that return, the cookies, the timeline. You can see here everything what happened on low level. So it's just awesome. You can see here the raw data or visual preview or something like that. This is just straight up awesome. So again, if we save here anything, our Mark Johnsons will be deleted. There is a little secret here, and it's let me see if there is everything. Where it is? So there is like docs. Oh, okay. So for there is a little just a little shortcut here. So you can see here with post, there is something like generate code here. If you click this generate code here, we can pick like any language and then say fetch. So here we go. You get your fetch function here from Insomnia. And yeah, it auto generates code from it. So you can choose any language, like I don't know, I programmed it Go, and I can use like new request and like get the code here, or what language other have I used, like or PowerShell for some reason, but you can have like node.js and use it like with request or HTTP. You can just without any problem you can copy paste from here, but you can see JavaScript, fetch, copy it. We can try it, copy it here, paste it. Bad request 400. Just a second. Why is this bad request? Localhost redirected false, status 400. Bad request. Huh. It should be working. Why is not working this? So no, this is totally fine. Everything is totally fine here. Huh. Let me try it with some get. So get, generate code, copy it from here, paste it here. Yeah, this works pretty fine. Huh. I'm not sure. Okay. So let's get back to our code here. So we created a person, we read it, we deleted it. This is totally fine. And what we need to do now is update it. So let's create our put with ID and not without it. So what we can do actually is just add const update person and then pass it with ID, name, surname, age. So what we'll do here actually is we will check every of these property. If they're undefined or null or something like that, we won't be updating our object with them. But if they have some value in there, we'll be updating it. So what we can do here is actually just get our we can just find and person from our collection and then update it without any problem. So we can get const person equals people dot find person dot id equals to id, and afterward we can we can like if else, if that's totally fine. So we can do it too. If name person dot name equals name, we can do it like this. No, so we can also do it. No, this is. We could do it like this. So we can do it also name. So person dot name equals, if there is a name, then we can return it name. If it's not, return person dot name. We can write like this. This is like a short version of writing everything that we need. So this one is surname, 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 and this is age, 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 age. And afterward we can return person. This is totally fine. And we can just expose update person. So let's go back to index and create our put. So it's request response. And then here we can say something like this. So const result equals, need to add it up here, update person. So we can const result update person. We can pass the number ID first, and then we can pass here request.body.name, request.body.surname, and request.body.age. We should probably, no, we are getting it from JSON, from body, so that's perfectly fine. And then we can just press send result. We can try it like this. So if I'm going too fast or something, just say, so I will explain again. I see there is a lot of playbacks. So just yeah, just warn me if there is some problem or if I should explain something more, like no problem. So let's create our update. New request, put person. I said no body, but we can change that with setting just JSON here. Headers we can find. So it's same as delete. So person something something. We can put ID1 and name equals, let's say Tor. And we need to write it as JSON and not as just JavaScript. Save here. Let's send it. There is. Let's get the pip. Get it Tor Abram. Let's double check it. So we have updated just the name. If we change also like surname, so it's cat. I can try it, and as you can see here, we updated surname and surname. So it's working fine. Oh. Yeah. So this way we have limited our put that only updates our first person with this. So we don't need to define ID in our body. This is like so from design standpoint. You should probably, when you're creating in a team, you should probably discuss this with your teammates, like what's better and how to make it. So this is totally, and like this is okay in some situations when you just want to update one person. So we haven't created like create multiple ones and create. So let's create multiple ones. Let's not update multiple ones. Creating multiple ones, updating multiple ones is very difficult, and there is a lot of like random errors in there. So let's try and create multiple people. So let's create people. So in creating people, we will get or maybe new people. We will get an array of new people, and what we'll actually do here is we'll use create person function to be called here. So we can do new people map new person is equal create person new person. So we can get here the whole array of new people created. Something like this. So what this does is actually we are sending the data, name, surname, age, and this create person is returning us the new person with ID and everything in there. Something like this. So we will send an array of new people. So in the problem now is that we are using the same, where is the post? Okay, we are using the same endpoint. So we send to person. We don't want to have like two different routes for creating multiple and a singular person. So we need to check if our body here is an array or an object. So here is a little bit tricky one, and that's how to detect JavaScript is array. So you will see here that can my internet open this? What's going on, MDN? Why you're so slow? So we can check it with array is array. Array is array isn't the best way of checking if that's array, or if it's not. There's some problems with it, but let's use it for this example. So array is array, pass an array, and it will return true. So let's use this for our example here. So if our request body is an array, then create multiple ones or create a person. So this is for multiple ones, and this is for one. This is for multiple ones. This one. So const result equals to create people. So create people with request. We send the whole body because the whole body will be our array, and then we can return it with resend result. So let's create endpoint with multiple. So post people with post, create it, and JSON. We will create an array. We will cheat a little bit because I'm lazy of writing everything like 6 times in a row. We can use like our Mark Johnson, and we can create one Swedish name like let's do it like this. Yeah, and we need to endpoint the same endpoint as we use here. So let's send it. Okay, 3 and 4. Let's send again. 5 and 6. 7 and 8. Okay, let's get everybody. Here we go. Bunch of new create people. So yeah. Yes, somebody came and went to playback. Like I want to welcome that person, but okay. Okay. We created a good bunch of different endpoints, so we can create multiple people, one person. We can get multiple people, one person. We can update, delete it. So this is perfectly fine. So no, we are going back to Insomnia. So let's save and restart everything. So we have about half an hour more here. So let's ignore our saving to JSON. That we can do that on Tuesday or some other day. Let's create our pets endpoints. So we can do a quick. So this is my favorite part about programming, and that's copy pasting. So let's try and create fast all the same endpoints for pets as we created for people. So what we can do here is actually copy paste everything, and let's change it really fast. So this pets, we can have. I'm sorry, Vera. So Vera said that Insomnia wouldn't start and froze her system. If there is any more problem, just say it in chat. It shouldn't be such a problem. Insomnia should work perfectly fine. I'm not sure what's going on in here. So if it's not working properly, there is something different that you can download, and that's Postman. Let me just double check it. So let's see, like what's downloading. macOS. So you can try it with this, with Postman. Postman is just an like it's same as Insomnia. It has some different UI. They're copying each other really well. I prefer Insomnia because it's totally open source, and I can like create my own Insomnia without any problem with some add-ons. And this is like at least partially closed source, so you can try it with this. Yeah, let's do pets. So let's create 2 different pets also. So Tor, species cat, and do the same thing as here on with 82 and this setup. So red people becomes read pets, return pets here. We can do some magic in here. So we can say return replace person with, and check it with pet. So replace everything, replace person with pet, replace everything, replace people with pets, replace everything, people with pets, replace everything. So let's see, like read pets, that's totally fine. Read by ID is totally fine. Delete by ID, totally fine. Create pet, new pet doesn't have name and surname. It has name and species. Name and species, push new pet. Let's change here to new species. ID, it doesn't have, it has just these 2 things, name and species here. Return pet, and yeah. This is the best part of programming. So only better part in programming is actually deleting code. So when you have a task of refactoring something and you mostly are deleting code, that feels totally perfect. So I remember when I was working on my startup, so I had a developer that wanted to refactor a piece of a service in our infrastructure, and he just deleted like 8,000 lines or something like that. It felt just awesome. So yeah, we created everything for updating pets here. So let's try and use that. So, and yeah, if you want just a quick tutorial about what have we done here, I actually I open I press Control F and then open here, and this is just a replace tool. So you just replace this. This is like a match case for sensitive, for lowercase and uppercase sensitivity. Okay. Let's go back to our index here. So yeah, let's add here from require routes, right? Routes / pet, and let's add all of these here. So there'll be read pets, read pet by ID, delete pet, create pets, update pet. So let's do this. Yeah. So let's create 2 new endpoints we can copy paste this and this part, so just for pets, and we can change a little bit. So it's a pet, recent read pets, create pets, create pet, but we are sending only name and species. We can create here, do something pet. We can create pet by ID, request param ID. We lost your pet. This sounds awesome. Yeah, we lost your pet. Totally. Great thing to return. Let's return the empty string. Like, hey, we lost your pet. Oh, great. Thank you. Request name. We can use species here. Update pet, delete pet by ID, and then hello YouTube. Okay, fine. So we created endpoints. It's the same. We can like duplicate this. So we will call get pets. Change a little bit here, and it should return our pets. Yeah, it's working fine. So this is great. This works out of the box. We are getting our pets and so on, but the problem here is like pets are not really useful if we are not knowing who is the owner of these pets. So what we missed here actually is we haven't wrote down like who is the owner of our pets. So what we need to do here is actually get an owner ID to our pets here. So I'm owner of Thor and Rhea, so I will put myself here as an owner. But every time we create a pet, we actually need to pass also here an owner ID. So a pet shouldn't like be ownerless, or at least it shouldn't be without an owner. Also, when updating, we can. It's not really great to send your pet to some to like send your pet to somebody else, but okay, we need to have this this case also. So this way we are actually getting like owner IDs here. Okay, so let's try and now call get pets. So they have owner ID. So the problem now goes that when we try to get all my people, we are actually not getting their pets. So how to do that? What we actually need to do is when we are getting, we are reading our people, we need to query our pets. So get the pet collection and return it here. So how to do that? So we can do it in two different ways. So the first way is that we can get all our pets with read pets function, and then we can use it here on read people. So we can do it really fast this way. So we can actually just const read pets equals require routes pet, or we can just create like this, and we can read all pets here. So let's do it first in get all people. So in here we can just read pets. This will get our pet collection inside of here, and then what we need to do is for each person here add their pets by owner ID. So what we can do here is actually just map this. We can also return it. So map person is we can do something like this. So we can find all, we can filter. So we can do something like this. So pets equals to pets filter pet.owner ID equals to person.id. So what we are doing here is actually we are mapping each person to an object that has pets in there. We need to do it like this if we want to return it in one line. So we are filtering our pets to get just that, the one that we own. So we also need to pass all other properties from person. So we can use it easily with spread operator like this. So what this spread operator does is actually takes all properties from our person object and puts it in here. So imagine it is just, I mean, it's easier way of writing something like this, dot name and so on and so on. So what we can do actually is triple dot person, and it will just get us all properties from our person object. So let's try this. If it's working. So yeah, it's working perfectly. So we get pets from our other collection. Let me go back to the code, and so I will paste it this. So you can see here that what I'm doing is actually mapping all people, so person, and adding the pets that they own. So when we are reading person by ID, we want to get our pet, our just only pets that we own here with in read person by ID, and we don't have a great function to call from our pet collection. So let's go back to here, and let's create a new endpoint here. Read pet by owner ID. So in this example, we will query our pets by owner ID. So filter pet.owner ID equals to owner ID. So we will just return pets that have the same owner ID as the parameter here. So we can add it here, and then in our person we can add our function here, and then we can call it here. So we can call it during people find, so on, so on. We can, when we found it, we got an object here. So what we can do is actually, I'm just thinking about like one-liner how to write this. We can actually like play with spread operator here a little bit more. So this is the same thing as like it will return totally the same things here. But what we can do here is actually call pets. Can we do it like this? Let me think a little bit. No, we can't really do it because we need owner ID from. Oh, we have owner ID. We have ID here. So we can write it just like this. So pets is get pets or read pets by owner ID and send ID. So remember, this is a person ID and this is an owner ID in our pets collection. So something like this. Yeah, I haven't shown you a lot of examples with spread operator, but spread operator is totally red and it's great for uses like this. So what this does is actually take every property from our people object or a result from people find, and then do it. The problem here is if we get null, we will get an error here. So not great, not terrible solution. We will need to create a little bit better. We would need to create a little bit better here. So maybe later. We don't have any very much time, so let's try to get person 1. It works perfectly. If we say 3, we will get actually, yeah, we will get an empty array. Not great. We can fix that later. For now, this is great. You can see here like 1 millisecond, 2 milliseconds. Yeah, it works perfectly. Okay, so when we are deleting person, we shouldn't like delete our pets. That's really bad. But what we need to do is set our pets ID to null. So when we delete a person, our pets don't have an owner anymore. This got dark really quick. But what we can do here is actually just get our pets, so read pet by owner ID, and set it to be null. So we can read pet by owner ID, const pets ID, and then set pets. We can do it for each. It's not really great solution, but I mean it's okay. Something like this. So with person by ID, and we set our pets to null. So let's try it. Let's try to delete the person. Okay, no content. Let's get pets. And Tor don't have an owner anymore. Okay. This become too real too quick. Okay, so when we create a person, we can pass, remember, we can pass some pets or add it later. That's totally up to us how we'll be doing this in the future. But okay, let's go and see what we've done today. Let's recap, because we have about 8 minutes and I haven't asked you if you have any questions. So shoot me with your best questions now, if you have any. But what we did, we created like a lot of, we actually created like a lot of stuff. It's actually in 1 hour and 30. This is like a good amount of code. Is that really finished? There is some random errors that could happen here, and we will do error management like in some other time. But what we can see, we created 4 different endpoints: person ID, pet, and pet ID. That's perfectly fine. It works totally okay, and we actually get, when we are querying people, we're actually getting their pets. We haven't completed our create person. When we can add like new pets by ID of them, or create ad hoc pet IDs, but we can create that some other times, or you can finish it. So no problems. If you want some task, just finish this what we want. Except I haven't gotten like a lot of response from the task before, so do what you want with that. Okay, any questions, guys? Is there anything that I need to go again through or something like that? Okay, no questions. Anything? No? So what we need to create more here is on create person, adding some new or existing pets. On update person, like changing pets or removing pets or something like that. Don't remember to put null in owner ID on this collection. So this way, this is like a relational way of writing our collections. This goes great with SQL in databases. so this way of writing. There is also non-relational, when we will put all our pets in our people collection. So they will be written just like the example that I wrote last time in lectures, but we can like talk about that more like on later stages. And for now, you can just enjoy here with your REST API that you've written. Also, I'll push this, so updates during the lecture, so you can just see what's going on in here and see what I have written here. So if there is any more questions and I'm not seeing any, we can just say it was a great day today for programming a little bit REST APIs. We haven't fixed everything, but it's working fine for now. At least no error management. So, guys, yeah, see ya next time. See you on Tuesday. Bye.